59 teams to go. My road to predict all 131 teams this college football offseason. Moving on to the Temple Owls. This is the program that, again, was just not very good a season ago. The team just wasn't able to find itself, was not able to establish that rhythm, and was a pretty bad season overall for this Temple program. But they do have a lot of experience coming back. A couple transfers here and there coming in for this team. But will it be enough for Temple to maybe push their way into a bowl game in 2022? Or is this Temple team going to have another pretty poor year, much like they did in 2021? What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate, and welcome to my channel. I'm predicting all 131 teams this college football offseason, which means I'm doing your favorite team. So go ahead, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you know when your favorite team gets uploaded. And for the fans of the Temple Owls out there, you guys are going to know this team a lot more than I will. So if you feel like I missed something, you want to add something, anything of the sort, please leave it in the comment section down below. I'll be happy to see what you guys have to say. Talking about Temple in 2022, they're my 10th ranked team in the American Athletic Conference coming into the 2022 college football season. And again, it was a pretty poor team last year. They were 3-9, 1-7 in conference, and probably had the worst offense in the American Athletic. 286, you got a little peek there. 286 yards per game with around 16 points per game. And then when you look on the defensive end here as well, not a spectacular defense. Did hold opponents to just under 400 yards a game, around 398 yards per game, but they allowed 37.5 points per game. That is way, way, way too many. I'll go ahead and pull up that list that you guys saw earlier, but man, just way too many points allowed on the defensive end, and the offense is going to look for some major steps forward in 2022 here as well. Taking a look at some of the talent that is leaving this Temple team, a backup quarterback, Justin Lynch, is gone. Had 839 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions a season ago. Was also the team's second leading rusher, had 295 yards and a touchdown last year. You also lose Kyle Dobbins, who had 3 rushing touchdowns last year, and Tavon Ruley, who had 2 rushing touchdowns, 241 yards, was the team's third leading rusher. So you lose that production out of the backfield. In the wide receiver position, your main target, and I realize that his name is spelled wrong now. It should be Randle, not A-L. Don't know what happened there. I apologize. But your top target in Randall Jones is gone. 476 yards and 3 touchdowns last year. He was your leading receiver. Did have 40 catches as well as someone else who was coming back on this team had 40 catches, but we'll talk about him later. And also Jaden Blue, transferred over to, I believe, Virginia Tech. Should be a nice part of now that Hokie passing attack, as Jaden Blue had 30 catches for 185 yards and a touchdown last year. On the defensive side of things, you have Manny Walker, who's going to be gone off that defensive line, had 19 tackles and a sack last year. William Kwenku, who was tied for the team lead last year with 3 sacks and 51 tackles, is gone. You also lose George Reed off the linebacking group, had 44 tackles a year ago. In the defensive back position, you lose your top 2 tacklers overall on your team. Amir Tyler with 69 of them, had 3 passes defended, and MJ Griffin with 66 tackles and had 4 passes defended there as well. So some pretty nice talent leaving this team. Also, Manny Walker, the defensive lineman, had 4 passes defended with 2 interceptions last year as well. So Manny Walker was playing some nice minutes for this Temple team. But you do lose all that production. It's not a whole lot, but there is a lot of quality. Again, when you lose your top receiver, going to have to find someone to replace him. Your 2 leading tacklers, you're going to need some guys to step up. But this team does have their quarterback coming back. D'Wan Mathis is back for this Temple team. 1,223 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions on this team. And did have 83 yards and a touchdown on the ground last year. So D'Wan Mathis should end up being that starting quarterback. I know there are a couple other guys in that quarterback room that could push for that starting job, but I see it as pretty unlikely that anyone besides D'Wan Mathis will start. That's my opinion, at least. Edward Sadie, the leading rusher last year with 321 yards, 3 touchdowns. He is coming back, as well as they're getting a transfer in by the name of Darvon Hubbard. My apologies. Your second leading receiver, the other guy who had 40 receptions. My brain is everywhere right now. 40 receptions last year, 440 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jose Barbone. You also get Ahmad Anderson, Kadaz Reams back as well. And Adonicus Sanders is the transfer coming into the Temple program, as well as David Martin Robinson coming back at the tight end position. So some pretty good names coming back there for Temple on the offensive end. Defensively, Jerquavian Mahone and Darian Varner. Varner was tied for the team lead in sacks last year, had 3 of his own as well. Then Jerquavian Mahone, 27 tackles a season ago at the defensive tackle position. Your 3, in my opinion, your 3 best linebackers in Jordan Maggie, Kobe Wilson, and Yavandi Rigby are all coming back. I know there's a transfer or 2 in there somewhere as well. And then Alex Odom, Cameron Ruiz, and Jalen Ware. Jalen Ware had 2 picks last year. Cameron Ruiz led the team with 5 passes defended. So there is a lot of talent coming back on this team, and there's a lot to like about this Temple team. But there's too many question marks in order for this team to really be considered a top team in the American Athletic Conference. As we take a look at their schedule, non-conference wise, you got a couple easy ones that don't necessarily pique my interest in UMass and Lafayette. Probably should be able to win both of those games there, you would think. UMass probably going to be a tougher team to play than Lafayette. With Ellis Merriweather there, and this is a Temple defense that did give up over 200 yards rushing per game, so UMass might be able to pull off a shocker, especially if Merriweather can get going. But then they have two Power 5 non-conference games, and that is in the likes of Duke and Rutgers. You got to go on the road to play Duke, and you get Rutgers at home. Talk more about those games here in a little bit. When you look at games in conference play, road games against Memphis, UCF, Navy, and Houston, home games against Tulsa, South Florida, Cincinnati, and East Carolina. Let's talk about this schedule. Again, Lafayette, UMass may be able to pull off a shocker here if Ellis Merriweather can get going, and if this rush defense from Temple last year has not improved. Their pass defense was pretty good last year, allowed under 200 yards per game, but that rush offense over 200 yards per game, got to work on that. When you go ahead and take a look at those 2 Power 5 opponents that Temple has on their schedule, though, definitely some scary teams here. Now, Duke, I don't think when you look at Duke, there's a whole lot to kind of write home about, right? And I don't think Duke is going to be that good of a team, but you have to go play them on the road. It is a Power 5 team. Probably going to be a tricky game there for Temple, as well as the home game against Rutgers. Rutgers is a team that can push to get into a spot in a bowl game this year. And while I personally end up thinking they're coming up just short, watch my Rutgers video if you are interested in that team. I do think Rutgers is still going to be a solid team, and I think Rutgers can push in a lot of games and make a lot of games competitive. Temple is going to have to kind of flip that script, and they're going to have to be the ones that need to show the competitiveness in this game against Rutgers. When you take a look at the American Athletics schedule, some hard games on here, especially the first 2 and the last 3. On the road against Memphis, who knows what Memphis is going to be like this year, but all in all, still figures to be a really, really solid football team there in Memphis, Tennessee. UCF, that's a team that can go ahead and win the American Athletic. What's nice is, yes, it's back-to-back road games, but Temple gets a bye week in between those 2 games. So maybe some things working in Temple's favor there, but those are just 2 tough matchups for this Temple team. You got to go on the road to play Houston. You get Cincinnati at home. Those are the 2 teams that played in the conference championship game last year, and hey, they can very well be the 2 teams that will play in the conference championship game again in 2022. In fact, it probably is the odds-on betting favorite to be that conference championship game, although I haven't necessarily looked. And then East Carolina at the end of the year there as well. That's just a really good East Carolina team. That's an East Carolina team that is returning Ehlers, I believe, at the quarterback position. Lots of other talent surrounding him, especially on the defensive side. There's some good talent there as well. That's going to be a tough East Carolina team to play in 2022. And probably won't have much chance there in that one, in my opinion. However, if you want to look for some winnable games on the schedule here, I mean, Tulsa is absolutely one of them right there that they can go and win. On the road against Navy, you can win that one as well. And at home against South Florida, there are 3 winnable games in the middle of your American Athletic stretch that can help you build momentum as the season goes along. I don't do game-by-game predictions. I do a more percentage-based Alex help me predict a team's record. So if the game is in red, I just don't see you winning the game. If the game is in orange, I still don't see you winning, but it is college football and upsets can happen. Yellow are your 50-50 or high upset potential games. Games in yellow-green are games you should win, but you got to watch out for teams on the other side of the ball in games in green, games that you should win. Again, UMass, if Ellis Merriweather can get going against this Temple rush defense, and that rush defense through the first 3 games has not shown any signs of improvement, Temple could be in for a little bit of a fight here. But all in all, I do think they are the more talented team, should be able to get the win, but watch out for Ellis Merriweather. Was a 1,000-yard rusher a season ago, and he can do it again in 2022. Should be able to beat Lafayette, no problem. When you look at the 2 Power 5 teams, though, that they have to play in non-conference, they are in orange. Going on the road to Duke, I know I've had my opinions on Duke, and I don't think that's going to be a very good football team there, but again, going on the road to play a Power 5 team is scary, especially when you're not one of the better group of 5 teams out there. So for Temple, maybe they can pull off an upset and start off the season strong at the Duke team that I think is going to really struggle this year, and maybe needing some rebuilding time under Mike Elko. But hey, Temple, I'm not liking their chances there on their own. I'm not liking their chances against Rutgers a whole lot either. I think Rutgers, like I said, a team that can push for a spot in a bowl game. That's going to be a tough one for them to win there. When you look in American Athletic play, UCF, Houston, Cincinnati, all games I have in red. I think it's going to be extremely hard for Temple to win any one of those 3 games, so I just don't think it's going to happen. Again, East Carolina, that's a team at the end of the year that Temple has to play that I think is going to be pretty solid this year. And then Memphis, again, on the road. That's just going to be another hard game there for Temple to win. But if you want to look for wins on this Temple team, or if you want to look for wins on this Temple schedule, again, Tulsa, Navy, South Florida, Temple has the potential, in my opinion, to win all 3 of those games. They could go 3-0 for that stretch. I think the most likely scenario is maybe 2-1. I think they maybe drop one of those games. Could be that game on the road to Navy, where they have struggled against the rushing attack, again, much like they did last year. But I got Temple at 4-8 in 2022. I do think they win half of their non-conference games. Let's hope it's to Lafayette and UMass. And then I think they win 2 games in conference. That floor I can see as being 2-10 because no game in conference play is guaranteed, although maybe they drop that game to UMass, win one in conference play. But I also can see this Temple team making a bowl game. If they can win, if they can start out the year 2-2, maybe play a close game at Memphis, you're going into the bye week feeling good. You're probably going to end up dropping that game to UCF, but then you go win your next 3, maybe upset East Carolina at the end of the year. This Temple team can make a bowl game, but I got them sitting at 4-8 in 2022. That's going to do it for the Temple Owls. Be sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, anything like that to help support the channel. And hey, remember to play hard but tailgate harder. See all you guys in the next video. Goodbye.